Welcome to Adventures with Capt Ray Kelly. This is primarily a drone show. We'll be sharing adventures from all over the world. We hope to have interesting guests every week, and we're glad that you tuned in tonight. We'll be flying different drones in different locations. We encourage viewer participation in the chat. If you have a question, don't be afraid to ask. Every week we'll have another interesting guest. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. We'll be sharing various adventures by our guests as well as myself. And thank you for joining us tonight. Hi, welcome everybody, and Happy New Year. I tell you, I can't believe it. It's 2023. I really can't believe it. But I wish everybody has a happy and healthy New Year, and hope you get a lot of drone flying in. You know, I've been flying every day so far, and I had a awesome meetup with Al Cercione and Ken Gottlieb and David Lorenzo on New Year's Eve, and it was great flying with those guys. And wait till you see this video that Alex Escardo has had made up. It's hilarious. That's all I'm gonna say. But really, it's an honor to have you guys come in. It really makes me feel good. And all the YouTube creators love their viewers. At least I do, and it means so much to us. Um, so thank you for watching the show. Thank you for watching the Fly for Fun show on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. with myself and Johnny Drone Flyer. Um, so I know Al is dying to see the video, and I don't want to let him wait too much longer because he went through a lot of trouble to get it to me. And um, but before I do that, I it's just amazing because I never realized I had such a good voice. And that's all I'll say. But anyway, I just want to, welcome everybody in. And Tony, he was number one, quadcopters in tech, and I have a great announcement about Tony because Tony sent me a package. He's coming to the South Florida Drone Meetup, and he's sponsoring it, and he gave us some raffle prizes. So let me show you what they are. Okay, this one is a DJIRC lanyard holder and stick guard. And if you guys don't know what the lanyard holder is, it's right here for your DJIRC. It goes on the bottom, and let me tell you, it works good. You put a lanyard on it, and I love it. And that's all I'm going to say. Tony, thank you very much. And there's three other little packages in here, so four people are going to win some nice raffle prizes thanks to Tony. So, and we got other prizes too. Just to let you know, while I'm talking about the South Florida Drone Meetup, last year Pilot Institute sponsored the South Florida Drone Meetup, and I asked Greg again to do it this year, and he did. He agreed to give lanyards. So he sent me 125 lanyards, and I really appreciate that. And I know everybody last year enjoyed getting them. So the first 125 people that come to the South Florida Drone Meetup will receive one of these detachable lanyards, and it's great. So I want to say thank you to Greg from Pilot Institute. But let me welcome in some more people. And Al, like I said, he's watching already, and I had such a great time flying with Al on Saturday. Um, and John Olson from Long Island's watching tonight. Thank you, John. Happy New Year. And Steve and Drones, good to see you. And John Carroll, JC flying. But I got good news about John. John somehow got his original YouTube channel back. He had lost it. He thought he was hacked, but he got it back. So that's great. And he's always sharing videos with us. So I'll be showing one of his videos a little later. And he's becoming quite the FPV pilot, just to let everybody know. Um, but John, Connecticut Formula, he's watching tonight. And Happy New Year, John. Good to see you. And I know I saw Greg Pittman there. How you doing, Greg? And Jerry Bauer. George Kelly. How you doing? Trucker Steve. Hello and Happy New Year. And we'll get back to the names. We even got Thomas. Thomas Ariels, all the way from Ireland. How you doing, Thomas? Happy New Year to you too. And we got a celebrity in the chat. Ron Brown's in the chat. How you doing, Ron? And I'm glad you're feeling a little better. You know, we were worried about you and we miss you. And I'm glad you're feeling better. And don't forget, everybody, Drone Nation tonight at 9 p.m. with Ron Brown and Marcus Crawford and DeMarco Moore. One of the best shows on YouTube. That's all I'm going to say. So, but anyway, I don't want to leave Captain Joe in the back room too long. And my other guest, just to let you know, he's going to be on, but he was in the middle of a drone deer recovery. So he recovered this deer. He's on his way home, and he'll be joining us a little later. And that's Mike Hoder. But anyway, I want you to give a warm welcome to Captain Joe from USA Drone Flyer. He's coming to us all the way from Louisiana. How you doing, Captain
Hey
Joe?
guys, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? I want
Good,
to thank
good.
you, Captain Ray. This back room was great, and I had to take a picture. Had to take a picture of this steak and lobster. Man, I am
Yeah.
full.
Okay. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I tell you, really.
I'm
Um,
used to jambalaya and shrimp.
yeah, jambalaya. I remember going down to New Orleans and eating that jambalaya. It's one of my favorites, actually. I love that. So listen, Captain Joe, you are quite the drone pilot. You're a Part 107 drone pilot. And maybe you could tell me and the viewers how you became involved with drones.
Well, back in May of last year, I finally purchased a drone. I wanted one for years, but I could never see what I would do with it based on the fact that I'm a professional photographer and I figured being a still camera guy, what's a drone going to really do? So when my son Nicholas left for the Marine Corps, when he got commissioned, then he's a second lieutenant in the Marine Corps and went active. The Air 2 went on sale, so I bought the Air 2 just to see what it would be like.
Yeah.
When I got it up in the air the first time, it was like, oh my God, what is wrong? Why didn't I have one of these? And then I started doing all the different shows, the live streams, just to listen to them and to learn, and realized the rules and said, well, I've got to have Part 107 based on the fact that I am a professional photographer and I don't want to fool with anybody with intent. I just want to make sure I do it right.
Right.
Now,
That's it.
now I was normal three drones ago. I now have three in my fleet, and I've actually sold the Air 2.
Okay. That's good. That's good. You learn quick, no doubt about it. And I give you a lot of credit for going out and getting your Part 107. Um,
You're next. You need to go do it.
yeah, I know. I'm studying, and like I've said in many live streams already, I study for a day, and then I don't study again for 2 weeks. But
I, I
anyway,
did
I'll
a
get it.
I did about
Eventually, I'll
a
get it.
I did about a 10-day crash course and
Okay,
went
that's how
in
you did it.
and I did a good score on a test, and that's all it mattered, just to pass it to me.
Yeah,
And I'm
exactly.
still learning every day because when you get out when you get out and fly a drone, you have people come up to you especially around where I'm at, and you become an ambassador also. So you have to kind of tell people about the drones, and they have no idea the rules.
Yep. You're right. I was down talking to a guy this morning. I got up at sunrise to fly at secret spot number one here, and
I saw
a
that.
gentleman who I had met last year, he had come down again, and he sat next to me right at the picnic table that I fly from, and he was picking my brain about it, and I had the Mavic 3 on the table, and then I also had the uh, the Mini 3 Pro on the table, and he was very very impressed with the drones. So I
I
had
love my Mavic
recommended.
3.
You love
I
that
love it.
Mavic 3, right? Yeah,
I
congratulations, you
love
got
it.
it too. You know, um, but I had recommended him getting the Mini 3 Pro as his starter drone, and he's seriously considering it. So we'll see. We'll see. Um, hmm.
I
And one
was
other thing I
flying.
want to say before I forget is I got this prop protector on here, right? Start RC prop protector. And this is thank you to David Lorenzo. David came to the little meetup and he ended up winning one of my hats on the giveaways that we had. And I gave David one of my hats. And then a couple of minutes later, he says, Captain Ray, you got the Mini 3 Pro. Here, take this. So
That's
thank
a
you,
good
David.
strap
I
protector.
appreciate it. Yeah. But I tell you, if anybody has any questions for Captain Joe, please put them in the chat. We'll try to get them to answer them. And if we can't answer them, we'll try to get the answers, or somebody in the chat will know the answers. So, don't be afraid to ask questions.
I'll
So
try
now,
to answer some.
now I know you're doing a lot of flying with Johnny Drone Flyer lately. How do you like doing that?
Well, Johnny's cool. We try to find some secret spots sometimes, and we have a few. He On the way home a few weeks ago, he found that water tower that was being built with the crane out the middle,
Right.
and he flew it before me. I was in the middle of doing some editing that day, and he was telling me he was on his way there. I went a little while later and did the same. And I tell you, I came very close when because I really didn't pay too much attention to the water tower except for the flying part. And when I looked at the editing side, I noticed that there was that big hole coming up through it. If I would have noticed that at the time, I probably would have tried to put the Mini 3 through it.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, that was a cool location to fly, no doubt about it.
And right off the bat, when I'm coming right above the trees, and it's something I didn't see in the FPV, because I was going straight above the trees, there was a flock of birds that went across in front of me about 10 feet, and it
Yeah,
must have been 40 birds.
yeah. You got to watch out for those birds, that's for sure. But listen, John Olson has a question for you, Captain Joe. Where is your
But
son serving?
son is in the Marine Corps, second lieutenant at Cherry Point, North Carolina. He is a aircraft maintenance officer, and on January 8th, he'll be down in Milton, Florida for 2 months.
Okay, good. Tell him thank you for his service, and stay safe. And I see we got
Yep,
Alicia B in the chat. Happy New
Alicia.
Year, Alicia. And it's always good to see Alicia in because she's thinking about getting a drone, and and I would love to see that. And Alicia, you have any questions? Just reach out to the people in the chat or myself, and we'll be more than happy to help you. But Ronnie's in the chat also. God bless America. How you doing? Good to see you. So, Captain Joe, how did you come up with the name for your channel?
Well,
USA Drone Flyer, Captain JoeMerica.
well, I actually messed that up because I always had the name JoeMerica, Captain JoeMerica, I used on other things. And when I was trying to figure out a name for the channel, I was looking at everybody's names and I was seeing Drone Flyer, and I was saying Captain JoeMerica Drone Flyer. No, that doesn't make sense. And then and the logo had an American flag, so I said USA Drone Flyer. So I said, let's try that, Captain JoeMerica. So I made that. So now that it's branded and it's it's starting to look like I have it out there as a it's set branded. Now I've thought about it and said I should have reverted it and went to Staff Sergeant JoeMerica because I spent 14 years in the Marines, and I
Okay.
could have put a Marine logo on the drones, and I could have had Staff Sergeant JoeMerica, but I'll stay with Captain.
Well, that's good. No, that's good. And thank you for your service.
Thank you.
I was in the
I do it.
Army way back in the day, just to let you know. I was a buck sergeant in
Thank you for
E5,
your service.
and I enjoyed it. But thank you to all the veterans for their service, really.
I would do it
Um,
all over again.
yeah. And I tell you, I'm trying to keep up with the comments in the chat. And Lambo just came in. How you doing, Lambo?
Lambo.
Welcome. And I forgot. I don't think I said hello to Paul. Paul Brown, Wedgeon Big. How you doing, Paul? Good to see you. And Paul, can I share about your drone? And maybe you could talk about it in the chat a little bit. But Paul had an unfortunate um, incident while he was flying yesterday. He was flying his DJI FPV. I don't think it was. Yeah. Okay. Good. Thank you, Paul. Um, and he lost connection somehow, and it ended up going in the ocean. He was flying up off of Massachusetts, the coast of Massachusetts, but he had refreshed, so he's going to use his refresh and get himself another drone. And he was able to recover the flight logs. So
That's a good thing.
yeah, good thing, Paul. You know, and let us know when you get your new drone. But we got Michael Wright, another celebrity in the chat. How you doing, Michael? Texas Arch Drone Guy. Good to see you. Um, you see all the names in the chat, and it's very humbling for me, to be honest with you. And a lot of these guys I've met from the different meetups. Um, and when you get to meet these guys in person, as you met Johnny. You guys are
Hmm.
flying a lot together. It's a great time. Whether you're flying with one guy, two guys, four guys, or in the South Florida Drone meetup, we'll have over 100 this year. We're up to 81 people coming to the third annual South Florida Drone meetup. But Joe, I know you're a busy guy. You're still working, and I would love to have you come and meet you in person. You know,
Well, I was
but
talking to my son about it, and I said I'm going to look at my schedule because I'm actually scheduled to shoot an autism softball tournament that weekend
right,
for the Advocate newspaper, NOLA.com. And that's just I'm part of the team basically because I do all their team pictures. So it's like something that I'm really committed to do. But if something looks like it's going to change, you
oh
never know.
really?
You might see me there.
All right, I'm glad to hear that. That's good.
It all depends on weather.
Right, I understand. You know. But for you in the chat that don't know about the South Florida Drone Meetup, it's the third annual now, and we're going to have it in Jensen Beach, Florida, on April 1st, 2023, and we're holding it at the same place we had it last year, the Jensen Beach Causeway Park. It was an ideal location to fly drones, GPS drones as well as FPV drones, and it's free to attend. So just let me know if you're coming. I'll put you on this list that I have, and you'll be assigned a number. And one lucky winner is going to win a raffle prize based on the sign-in number. But you have to be present. You do. And
Don't
we
give away that
encourage,
Mavic 3.
yeah, we encourage adults to bring children, and we want more female pilots to join us. Last year we had quite a few, but we want more. You know. So if anybody has any questions about that, reach out to me or check our Facebook event page and join our South Florida Drone Meetup group. And It's funny because Johnny finally booked his hotel room the other day. So, and he got the rate. And just to let you know, the rate for the hotel is 139 for a room and 149 for a suite. But I checked the rate the other day. It's $266 now, but we get the original rate they told us. So that's good. And I see Mike, he's in the back room. So Mike, you enjoy the lobster, steak and lobster that I have back there,
I
and
left them a little.
I'm gonna bring you in shortly. But that's great, you know. Um, so please, don't hesitate to join us and get that rate. And the code for the hotel, the discount code is SFD, South Florida Drone, and it's the Hampton Inn and Suites in Stewart North. So, but anyway, so Captain Joe, we got our second guest. He's in the back room, and he's a busy guy. So I'm going to bring him in. Then we'll get back to your story.
Okay.
And I want everybody to please give a warm welcome to Mike Hoder. It's drone deer recovery. He's coming to us all the way from Ohio. So, hey, Mike, welcome.
Like,
How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Good, good, And I'm glad you accepted my invitation to be on.
Yeah, not a problem.
And I tell you, I forget where I heard about your channel, your YouTube channel, and what you do. And I was so impressed with it, I immediately reached out to you, you
Nice.
know,
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah,
and
it's been doing great. Like all the other podcasts that I've been on, I've told them that I knew it's going to be a big thing. I just didn't know it's going to be this big this quick. Basically, with the power of social media, if something is maybe slightly controversial, things blow up really quickly.
I know. I've seen some negative comments, but you're doing a good thing. And one of the big things that I came across is your latest video where you actually rescued one of the bloodhounds
Yep,
that
yep.
got
That
lost.
that that was probably one of the coolest things that I'll do for a while. I mean, I know it's probably just a matter of time till I have to, go look for someone that I don't want to. I don't want to get the call, but looking for someone. But yeah,
Okay.
for now, the finding the dog was the coolest one I've done.
So you would actually look for missing persons too, if obviously you were asked.
Oh yeah, yep,
Right, right. And that's what we promote. We try to promote drones for good. And
yep.
I have police officers on the show and deputy sheriffs on the show that fly drones, and that's a big part of their job where they try to locate missing people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've had a couple people on social platforms reach out to me to look for people, but they were in other states, and so it just didn't work out.
Right, right. If anybody has any questions for Mike, please put them in the chat. We'll
Yeah.
try to get them to answer them. So, Mike, just give us a little background. How did you become involved with drones initially, and then how did you get involved with deer recovery?
Well, I'm a licensed pilot, private pilot. I've been flying airplanes for going on 7 years. I grew up Amish, so that was never something that I thought I could achieve, but I chose to not live that lifestyle, and then had a job that was paying well, and I had enough finances to go get my license, so that's what I did. I had my private license for a while. Flew drones, just kind of recreational for myself, and I was like, well, geez, I can easily get my remote pilot's license if I, watch a few videos on the FAA website, because I don't have to go test like you do if you don't have your license. And so I got that. And how I got into drone deer recovery is a friend of mine. Does roofing, and he said that he hires thermal drones at times to come out and spec big commercial roofs. And I was like, well, I thought about buying a thermal drone and looking for deer, and he's like, I think that'd be a great idea. And so that's what I did. I was like, I'm gonna go buy a cheap thermal drone, which was the DJI Advanced Enterprise Advanced, and
Right.
made a video of it. Took it to an outdoor show, and the outdoorsmen was just they were just blown away. So
Yeah.
I knew that drone worked for certain scenarios, but doesn't work for all scenarios. So I invested in the big drone, the Matrice 30T, and went
Right.
all out, and it's paid off big time since I've done that.
That's such an impressive drone, that DJI M30T. I've seen
Oh,
it.
dude,
I've seen it in
this
action at a
the
fire scene.
yeah, the way that they built that drone, like the getting it out, setting it up, boom, you can just I can literally have that thing set up in like 40 seconds. It's so
Right.
easy. And then what the carrying that camera is just it's completely. I know that the thermal is same as like um the Mavic 3T right now, but the zoom on the Matrice 30T blows that thing out of the water. You might have 50 times zoom on the Mavic 3T, but it's super grainy by the time you get in there.
Okay.
If you go 50 times zoom on the Matrice, it will be super clear and blow
Clear.
that 3T out of the water.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, I've
Yep.
heard it. My friend who flies for the fire department, he has it, and he's told me the same things basically.
Yeah, I have a three Enterprise, not the T version for mapping, but if I would put both drones up and zoom in on something, people would see the difference. It's way different.
Right, right. But listen, I'm not trying to embarrass you or anything like that, but I know that that drone had an issue recently. You weren't flying it. Do you want to talk about that, or we can
Correct.
go on
Yep.
to something else?
Yep. So, no, I think it's a good thing because it
Right,
will help people from not making this mistake. Obviously, we have a checklist we go through: check the props, check the arms, so on. And it was just something that may have been overlooked by one of my pilots. Is when you take the spotlight and you slide it in on the top, it has a little bracket that you
right,
slide the um, LP12 into. And I did this later. You can watch it on the video. Is it slid in, but the one side was sitting on top of the rail instead of on the bottom of the rail. And he pulled on it forward, but not on like sideways, and
right,
it was locked in, but not proper. And when he went and he took off, when the aircraft yawed to I don't remember was it left or right,
right.
but when it did
Bank.
that, that the light just slid off and went to the right or left and hit a prop, and down it went. After seeing a couple people say something about it auto landed or something with three props, I was like, well, it broke up quite a bit. But then
Yeah,
I'm
right.
like, you know what? I actually think it did because if it would have just started falling out of the sky, it would have probably got damaged a whole lot more than it actually did.
Okay. Yeah,
But
that's good to know. I
yeah,
watched the video. I watched, and I learned from watching your video. And speaking of that, guys, don't forget to watch Mike's videos, Joe's videos. If you're not subscribed to their channel, please subscribe. It means a lot, and you can learn a lot. There's no doubt about it. You can
yep,
always learn watching YouTube drone videos,
yep.
you know. But Captain Joe, it's one of those things where you had said that you have the Mavic 3 like I do, right? You got the Mavic 3, but
I have the Mavic 3, I have the Mini 3, and the Air 2S.
right, yeah. And the Mavic 3 to me is my favorite drone. It really is. I love it. I would love to have an M30T, but it's definitely beyond my budget.
Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, they're not cheap, but if you do the business I do, you gotta have it. I've had hundreds and hundreds of people reaching out to me because they want to fly drones. It looks cool, and it is cool. But if you want to do what I do and you plan on doing it on the cheap, the quality is just not there to do it. So I've got guys in Georgia that didn't listen to what I told them, and they went out and bought the 3T, and now they come back with an email and they're like, "Well, it works, but it doesn't. It only works if the deer is completely laying flat and they can tell that it's dead." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, that's what I told you, but go out and do your own thing, live and learn."
Right, exactly.
Yep.
No, I think I'm not a hunter myself. I went deer hunting once and I didn't see a deer. But I guess from the stories I've heard, it's really hard to find a deer after they get shot sometimes.
Oh yeah, like the deer I just looked for tonight. He did hit the
Yeah,
deer, but
tell us about that. Tell us about that.
yeah, he did hit the deer, but he didn't hit it good enough, and um, he had a little bit of blood to track, but not enough to really stay on the trail. So he wanted the drone to come in and locate the deer, and I did that. But for him, unfortunately, the deer was still alive. For the deer, that's good, but not for the hunter. So I was able to locate it for him, give him a peace of mind that the deer is not suffering, and it survives another day.
Yeah, yeah. Um, well, I think it's a great thing. I think it's a great thing what you're doing, and I'm going to share one of your videos now on that lost bloodhound. Is that all right?
Sure.
Um, and then Captain Joe, I'm going to share one of yours. You'll be up next.
Thank
And I always worry about losing the stream when I share, so just bear with me for a minute, and I'll bring it up. And hopefully, we won't lose the stream. And Mike, if you want to narrate over it, you can. I know you do a lot of vlogging like I do in your videos, but you know, um,
recovery. We just had a pretty crazy call. We're actually on our way down south right now, headed to Tennessee. And I had a guy call me and wanted to know if I would be available to come and try to find his.
I've never watched one of my videos over top of another screen.
On a track, and the dog got away from him somehow. He feels like the leash got hung up in trees or something, and he's hung up out there. So
how's that better?
just happened to be coming down through Kentucky right now, and I was like, you know what? We're here. Let's see what we can do to help you out and try to find this dog. So that's what we're doing. We're kind of detouring right now. We're gonna see if we can find this dog for him. So come along. Could be interesting. Getting all kinds of different calls.
Like I said, I thought, and you got quite a store going too, by the way, with your merch.
Yep. It's not doing as good as I thought. I thought in the beginning people were asking me for merch, and then when I launched the merch, they're like, I guess that they didn't think it's as
All right,
cool
we
as
got
they
a
were.
commercial.
Hoping.
I don't really don't know how to
watertight,
take these commercials out until I
With the industry's
skip
only
it. Let's
surface
see.
and sub
And I
4
can't skip
waterproof
it right
warranty,
now.
realistic
We gotta
good
listen
looks,
to
and
it for a
ergo
minute.
durability. Now $2.99 per square foot at Lowe's.
No, another one? Oh man, wait a
Can't you
minute. Let me
hit
get rid
skip
of
or
these
what?
commercials. Yeah, hang on, let me say here. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Well, this is not ideal. We drove.
So this,
all this way.
obviously, I'm gonna explain what happened
the
there.
overpass layer that's now behind us. We are like 8 minutes away. We just drove out of the overcast layer, so this sun has been out, beaten down on the trees and stuff. So that's not good, man. I'm a little not happy about that, but there's nothing we're gonna do about it. You know, we're still gonna come out here and
Yeah, you were in a race
give
with
this
the
a good
sunrise,
search.
right?
See if
Yeah,
we can
well,
find this dog for him.
I didn't even think about asking him if it was overcast, because obviously if you know thermals, you don't want the sun to be out because it'll really mess with the thermals. But when we got there, I had already checked the weather earlier, and it forecasted to be overcast.
Okay.
And I got out there, and it was bright sun. And we started looking for it. You'll see it later in the video here. I even tell the client, I'm like, this is not ideal, but I'm still gonna give it a try. And we tried for a little bit with the speaker is what we were doing, and then
Going
all
back
of a
in
sudden an overcast layer
with
blew
the
in, and it
focus.
just it was
I
like the
think he
Lord
might
sent it
think
because
he was
it was what we needed to really find this dog. But I got so focused that I didn't even talk about that because but I was wanting to create content, and then when you're trying to find somebody's pet, and it was an actual, I mean, it's a working dog for them, but
Right.
it's a dog that is a family pet, and they wanted to find this thing. So got real serious and kind of forgot about the cameras there for a little while, and just went to work trying to find this thing.
I didn't
For
even
sure,
think
once
of
that
asking you because of where
overcast
we
layer
were
moved
when
in,
you
I
had
knew
called,
I
it was
had to work
overcast.
while
Yeah.
it
And
while
your
I
wife,
was there.
or I assume it's your wife,
Mhm.
just mentioned
Yeah.
that it's been sunny here all morning.
And like I say,
Yeah, for the most
So
part.
I give you so
nice.
much credit.
Thermals, because it just
It's warm and everything.
Thank
yeah,
you.
it screws
Mhm.
everything up.
It's,
But
where I think he is, it's a lot of this. So a lot of it's
I'm gonna
safety.
fast
he's
forward
taking
it a
care of
little
the
bit,
video.
and we'll go to this point,
Oh, I think you skipped the
and
whole
sometimes that happens too. Never fails.
thing.
And now we got another commercial because I did that.
I think you went to the next video.
In the creek,
Man.
I lost my
Oh my God. I shouldn't have tried to fast
glasses
forward.
and my
So I
hat.
apologize.
I was laying
Let me
underneath
see if
the
I can get
rock
it
in the
back.
creek.
That's not
I don't
funny.
know what
Come
happened.
on.
Sorry about that, Mike.
Oh,
I'm
it's
gonna
all
have to
good.
I'm gonna have to go search it again and get it. But
It's all
um,
good. Yeah,
you
if they
keep the
just search
you keep the
drone deer
conversation
recovery,
going and I'll
yeah,
find it.
if they just go to drone deer recovery on YouTube, I'm sure they can find all those videos. But
Well,
yeah,
let me just tell you, guys, he found the bloodhound,
yep.
and it was cool. I have to say, it was cool. I
Thank you.
got a little emotional when you found it.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, but now let me see if I can show a little of Captain Joe's video. And Captain Joe, he has a great location down there to fly, and he's been flying a lot with Johnny Drone Flyer. And when I first saw this location, Captain Joe, I was totally impressed. And maybe you can narrate this video, Captain Joe, if you want.
Oh, that's out by the lighthouse, Madisonville. Yeah, that's the place that I really wanted to fly when I bought a drone. And when I bought the drone, I was afraid to fly because of all the water. The first time I did fly there was with Johnny. And since then, about 90% of my flights are over water. That's the lighthouse point in Madisonville where the Chifuncta River meets Lake Pontchartrain.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why were you afraid to fly over water with your drone?
I was new and I was thinking, what happens if I make a mistake and drop it in the water?
Okay.
But when you learn what these drones can do, it's like I said, at least 90% of my flights are over water now.
Yeah. So in the beginning, it was because you thought maybe a malfunction or something could happen and it drops into the water.
Right.
Right.
And like
Yeah.
he was saying, double check everything before you put that drone up. I
Yep.
put an Air 2S up, flew it for 18, 20 minutes, got it back, and the battery wasn't snapped in all the way.
Yep. Yeah. It's one of those things. There's definitely checklists for everything.
But what a great location to fly right here, Captain Joe, really.
Yeah, I
And I
love that
hope to
place.
fly there with you one day. It's on my list. Great video.
You will.
What was the altitude there? That is some serious scenery.
I think the highest I got at that point was about 160.
Nice.
Actually, it
That's
was
pretty.
200 because every time I got to 200, I was with the Mavic 3. I was getting a high wind warning. And I said, well, I've got the Mavic 3. I'm good. So I
Yeah.
flew around a while. And then when I double checked when I got back, it was gusting 35 up there.
Wow. Was
Yeah.
that a lighthouse at the end there?
That's a lighthouse
That's pretty.
right down at the end.
Yeah. That location has a lighthouse and a sunken tug, right? A
Oh
tugboat?
wow.
Sunken tug and a lighthouse.
Nice. Yeah, I
Yeah.
gotta get into doing more of that type of stuff, like just cool flying, looking at
Fun
scenery.
flying.
Because yeah,
You know,
mine is like friggin' serious focus. Like I
right,
gotta
right.
get this done. But
Well, I didn't tell you this, but I'm a co-host on the Fly for Fun show on Wednesday night at 7
okay.
p.m. with Johnny Drone Flyer.
I
And
I
we
don't think
try
I
to tell these
qualify
guys,
for that
go out
show.
and fly for fun every once in a while, guys. But anyway, we got another celebrity in the chat, and that's Stevie Bronx, Capture Life Connection. How you
Stevie.
doing, Stevie? Good to see you. Yeah. So anyway, but both of you have such interesting stories. You really do, on how you became involved with drones and what you do with your drones now. I fly for fun right now. I've been taking this pilot institute class for over a year now.
Wow.
So I don't want to go back to work. I've been retired for 20 years, and I don't want to go
Okay.
back to work.
Hey, I don't blame you.
So, um, but
Well,
it's
Captain Ray, you're doing it right. You retired. I retired in 2016 when I hurt my knee, and I'm working harder now than I've ever worked in my life.
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
Are
I
you
know.
so Captain Joe, are you doing drones full time for business then?
No, I'm not doing drones for business at all. I do professional photography, and I
Oh,
shoot for
okay.
the newspaper, and I do press work.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, no, Captain Joe's good. I tell you. Here's another one. I've asked him to be on the show. He's too busy working. He couldn't be on the show.
Yeah,
You caught me during
Yeah,
football season.
I know,
nice.
I know. But we got Joe Blaylock. He's coming to us all the way from Washington State. How you doing, Joe? Good to see you. Um, but listen, I do a little contest every month. We do a little giveaway, and most of the time I give away an Adventures with Captain Ray Kelly hat, and we got to do the actual drawing for the uh, the hat this month. I should say December, and I think we'll do it now. And I'm want to make sure all the names are in the hat. So let me just do the drawing, and I won't look. Um, but anyway, let's see who it is. Captain Joe, you're actually the winner. So
Must
congratulations.
be rigged,
You won the hat, and I know everybody's going to say it's rigged, and people are
rigged,
putting in
rigged.
numbers. But this is for the December giveaway, and in a couple of minutes we'll do another one to get your name entered in the January giveaway. But actually, I'm mixing it up. I'm giving away a shirt in January, just to let you all know. So, and you're eligible too, Mike. So,
Cool.
um, but I get a kick out of everybody in the chat. I used to do numbers, so they had to pick a lucky number. I did colors; they had to pick a lucky color. But now the way I do it is I ask them to watch my latest video, and that's part of that Facebook post that I put up. So if anybody, the first one to get the drone that I was flying on that last video on that Facebook post over the marina here. A lot of people know I fly at the marina,
I
and it
know.
was my next to last drone video. I posted one today, and that one. But if you know what drone it is, put it in the chat. And I gotta say, I I uh, I see the correct answer, and see and a lot of correct answers. I see it. A lot of people know it was the Mini 3 Pro, but I think it was Tony. Tony got it first. Yep, very good, Tony. It was the Mini 3 Pro in that video, the sunset video over the marina. So, congratulations, Tony. Your name's going to go in the hat for the t shirt next month. So, but I usually also do a tip of the week, Mike and Joe. Um, I think you guys, well, I know Captain Joe might know it, but um, this week's tip is nothing sophisticated, like all of them are. But I recommend using a takeoff and landing pad. Simple. A lot of people don't. They just put it down on concrete or flat grass, and I don't think that's a good idea. You could damage your props. So I recommend using a takeoff and landing pad when you're
Yeah.
flying.
I agree with that. For sure, if you're buying or flying a big drone, or if you're flying like a Matrice 30T, that sucker is sucking up some dirt, let me tell you. If it's
Exactly.
sitting on concrete or not, there's fine dust and sand that can get up in those props and it'll nick and crack those props. So a landing pad is super important.
Right, right. And I remember
Plus,
flying with Stevie Bronx, and Stevie Bronx had told me about the Hoodman landing pads. He
yeah,
had one, and I was very impressed with it. It was weighted, and I had the less expensive one. But it took me 6 months, and I finally went out and bought a Hoodman for
uh,
myself.
they're
And I
nice,
know I
yeah.
know you use a Hoodman.
Yep, yep. Yeah, and another thing is, I mean, people obviously know where you're gonna land, so it's like, hey, you don't have to tell them, hey, get out of that sidewalk. I'm gonna land there. It's like they have an area that's dedicated for you to land.
Exactly, exactly.
Yep.
Do you use landing pads, Joe, Captain Joe?
I actually do. I had a issue with the Air 2S. I was taking off and landing just from the sidewalks, and it started giving me a gimbal warning.
Uh,
And it had to be a piece of sand that got up in there. It took me blowing it out about 5 times. The last time I flew it, it was perfect, but I'm not going to fly them anywhere unless I use a landing pad now.
Right, right. I know. I found that out the hard way too. Where a grain of sand got in my props one time and seized one of the motors, and ever since then, landing pads.
yeah.
But so now, do you do a lot of hunting yourself, Mike, or no?
Not this year. I've been just slam flying drones, so nope, haven't got out much. I used to do quite a bit of hunting. Um, I also was a cameraman for a professional production company out of Wisconsin. So I used to travel all over the country documenting hunting adventures.
Okay, that's cool. So that's where you got your photography experience. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. That's great. It's funny because my friend here in Florida, he's a snowbird like me, but he does a lot of hunting up in Wisconsin. Yeah,
Okay.
that's where he does most of his hunting. Yep,
Nice.
and he wouldn't come to Florida until he got his last hunt in.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
think I might be coming to Florida on doing a thermal pig hunt. So there's a couple guys that reached out to me about doing something like that. So
oh
I might be
really?
going to Florida to do a thermal
Do you know
pig
what
hunt.
area you're gonna be in?
I think it's north of Okalaka.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. What is it? Hog hunting, pig hunting. That's
Yep.
very, very popular here.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, definitely. We got Joe Fodolio in the chat, and I forgot to say
Sure.
hello to Dre, Recovery One Drones. He's coming to
Sure.
us all the way from California. And Mike, Dre has it M30T.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's
Nice.
a Part 107, and that's one of the drones in his fleet. So,
Cool. I'd like
yeah,
to know what he does with it.
yeah. I know he does construction updates. And Dre, mention it in the chat. What you do with your M30T? Yeah, and I had the pleasure of flying with Dre when I went out to California last year. So, but he didn't have that M30T at that time.
Hmm.
But I tell you, the time flies by, and I promised JC that I would show one of his videos, and like I say, I said that last week, and then we ran out of time. So I definitely got to show it this week. And JC, he's one of the biggest supporters of this channel and the Fly for Fun show. So, JC, here's your video. He flies up in North Carolina most of the time, unless he's at the South Florida. You fly FPV, Mike?
Nope.
How about you, Captain Joe? Do you fly FPV?
No. Although the other day I took the Mini 3 out under some oaks and did FPV and kind of laughed about it.
Right, right. That's what I do too.
I did at the end of it rip through an empty sign.
This is a great video, JC, John. Really. Hey, we got Barry. How you doing, Barry? New England journalist. Good to see you. And I like the soundtrack too, JC. I've only tried FPV one time. But Al from the South Florida Drone Flyers, he's getting into FPV now. Great video. You always wait for the crash, you know, guys? But JC he's really gotten a lot better. Very cool, JC. Keep your videos coming. And thanks for letting me share it. Yeah, so and JC he comes to the South Florida Drone Meetup. And Mike, I know you're not that familiar with that, but I'm one of the organizers along with 4 other people on the drone meetup committee. But we have our 3rd annual South Florida Drone Meetup on April 1st. So if you can coordinate that pig hunt around April 1st, or just come down, take a couple of days off and come down and join us.
Yeah, I should. My wife's been on me about taking a break because I've been going for, basically since the season started. Yesterday was the first day I shut my phone off because I was like, I am not going to talk to somebody today about drone deer recovery. It's just, it has to wait. And
right.
But yeah, maybe I need to take a break and come down and join you guys.
Yeah, I would love to meet you in person, and there's no doubt you'll have a good time. And we're going to get more and more raffle prizes, and like I say, we have a great time. We really do. Last year we had well over 100 pilots throughout the country that came.
Wow.
We even had the United States Army drone team there last year. They showed up from Fort Rucker, Alabama. They brought a
awesome.
Hellfire drone missile.
Jeez.
Yep. So, hey, Johnny D, how you doing? Good to see you. And Gary, number 13 on the South Florida Drone Meetup list. How you doing, Gary? And Gary's the first international drone pilot that signed up for the South Florida Drone Meetup. So we're going to all get to meet Gary, Brand Aerials. But listen, the hour goes by so quick. It does. And I appreciate you both being on. So I want to say thank you. You both were great guests. But I'm going to close the video with a or the show, I should say, with a funny video, and then I'll give you guys your chance to say your final thoughts. So let me just show this quick short. I guess you could say it's a short that Alex Escargot made for Al and me and Ken and David. And I tell you, I was laughing. I thought it was hysterical. This is from our meetup the other day, and we had a beautiful sunrise that day, and we got some great flying in. But Alex decided to make this video. Yeah. I was actually doing the intro to the video there. Yeah. And that's a great job, Alex.
I would say he did quite a bit
He's
of
not in the
editing there.
chat, but he knows how to edit. He does.
Yeah.
I could never do something like that.
Wow. I
So
need a guy
listen,
like that on my team.
do you? Great editor?
Yeah, I could use that because I'm doing quite a bit of the editing myself.
Oh, you do it
Take-
yourself. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there's some of the shots that are professionally done, but most of it's off what I do.
Editing is a lot of work, a lot of
Ugh,
time.
a
It
lot of
takes a
time.
lot of time,
Yep.
you know. But listen, like I said, thank you guys for being on the show. Time for closing thoughts. And Mike, I'll let you go first. Thank you for being
Yeah.
on the show. Anything you want to promote and your final thoughts?
Hey, I appreciate you asking me to come on your show. I feel honored. If you guys want to check me out, obviously on YouTube, Drone Deer Recovery, Instagram, TikTok, it's all the same, Drone Deer Recovery. And yeah, happy to see you guys over there.
All right. Thank you, Mike. And keep your videos coming, you know. And Captain Joe, now it's time for you to say your final thoughts and anything you want to promote.
Same thing. Thank you so much for inviting me on this show. You are one of the superstars out here, and I'm honored to be on this show. And when you're out flying, just remember people are watching. Do everything right. Don't do anything that's going to make you that person that they're
Yep.
going to talk about.
Right. Good points. No doubt about it. Well, guys, and I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat. You know, like I said in the beginning, it means a lot that you watch it every week. It's usually the same people, and I appreciate it. And I know all the other YouTubers appreciate it. But most importantly, you know, get out there and fly for fun. And if you got the Part 107 and you got a good job going, make some money too. But most importantly, fly safely. And don't forget tonight, I think we got the World Drone Community coming on right at 7. And then we got the Grumpy Vlogger at 8. And then Drone Nation at 9 o'clock tonight. I think they're coming on. So tune in to them. And everybody have a good night. And if you guys want to stay in the
See ya.
back room, we'll continue to party and I'll end the broadcast. And good night, everybody. See you
Thank you.
again next week.